Hey everybody, this is Alfred Edmond Jr., Senior VP, Executive Editor, Larger Black Enterprise. Welcome to Beyond the Hype, and I am really excited about the conversation we're going to have with my superhuman little sister, but you know her as the queen of comedy, Adele Givens. How you doing, sis?
Hey, my superhuman big brother.
So listen, before we get started about your career and what it's like to make a living doing what you do and what you've been doing at such a high level, talk about where you are right now, as we're obviously all adjusting, coping, living in an environment. Much of the entertainment industry is obviously shut down, or at least slowed down in terms of production of live events or even produce content. So what's happening with Adele in the current environment? How are you doing?
I'm doing well under the circumstances, and I don't know. I guess I'm dealing with it mentally, like most people are. Just I feel like I'm in a 12-step program, taking it a day at a time. I'm keeping coming back. No, you know what? And I was about to say no offense to anybody in the program, but that's one of my pet peeves, Alfred, that we have to put a disclaimer on almost everything we say and do. That bothers me. It's like I really almost want to say, listen, if you don't understand what I'm saying, don't with me. Ooh.
Go on, girl.
I hope you got a delay button in the beep it. But that's just I just okay. I'm gonna get off of that because that's gonna make me say things like that, and I don't want to say things.
Yeah, but I want you listen. Just before we came on, you talked about how, and I feel honored and privileged that you're doing this Zoom conversation with me. I really appreciate that. But you said some very, I think, important things about what you're trying to do with your time.
Yeah.
And other people do what they want to do with their time, but what you're trying to do with your time and why you're approaching it that way.
Because I feel like even myself, like I said to you earlier, some people are just the Energizer bunny. They have to do things. They need to do things. They are acclimated to being busy and doing things. And some people, when they sit down, they feel unproductive. I understand that. There are times when I'm in that mode. But when the universe so politely handed me this opportunity to reflect and go inside and sit still and enjoy nature, and I'm taking full advantage of it. But the problem I'm having is a lot of people that I know and I love are not. They're busy. They just went around. Like, it's almost like the universe built the proverbial wall and they climbed over that sucker and started continuing doing what they've been doing anyway. Me, I said, oh, I know when I hit a wall, that means I need to stand still for a minute. So let me just go in. And I've been loving, well, I guess everybody wasn't financially prepared for this time. So I will put that on there. Some people have to find creative ways to have a hustle and do what they have to do. Me, I was saving for a rainy day anyway. It's raining, so I'm chilling. I literally appreciate this time. I know it's, maybe if it could have been in a different way and people didn't have to die and be sick and be stressed and all of that, but it's still that time and I'm loving it. So I'm telling almost everybody, with the exception of my superhuman big brother, now y'all go ahead and Zoom on. I'm gonna sit still. I'm loving this time. I told Tony, I said, people are like the Energizer bunny, but I'm like the hare that took a nap and let the turtle cross the damn finish line. Cause I ain't in the race. I'm okay. I believe the hare wasn't asleep. I think he had his hand down his hand. He had his eye looking at it. Let the turtle get some. Cause I'm chilling anyway. Go ahead, get yourself some, turtle.
Because I always get it all the time anyway.
I always get it anyway.
You can have this one.
You can have it. I'm good. But that's how I feel, and it's so hard because most of the people contacting me are people that I know. They happen to be celebrities, but they're people that I know, and I have to go. No, I'm not. First of all, me and technology are not friends. Everybody needs to know that we ain't friends. Me and technology, we don't get along at all. But I will manage it, as you can see. I'm managing. I just don't want to manage it while the universe decides we need to take a slow down, take a chill pill. I want to do what I'm directed to do in
Well,
that way.
and to your point, it's not like you haven't been extremely productive for an extremely long time on an extremely
Yeah.
amount of projects. I'm going to throw this in there. We can talk about it later. But my sister is a y'all don't know, maybe y'all don't know this. She's a ventriloquist too. But she says she's working on it. But from what I can see, she already got that master.
She's
So
working on it, Alfred. She's working.
she's written, she's acted, she's been on TV shows, she's been in movies, she's been in sitcoms. She's the queen because of obviously stand up. Well, I'll get into that later too. But you've done everything, and I'm sitting here. This sister's actually on Facebook showing she got ventriloquism skills, and like you don't rest on your laurels. You're always looking for new things to do. I think because you enjoy doing it, but also you're just not about just chilling and acting like, okay, well, I'm the queen, so what?
Well, I guess I ain't chilling in that way, but I'm taking a break from my normal activities.
Right.
My getting on planes, and I don't miss it, Alfred. I don't miss the airplane. I don't miss the radio station. I don't miss the hotel. Definitely don't miss the hotel rooms.
Right.
I don't miss none of that, the road stuff. I have to acknowledge I miss the people and standing up. That's really the only part of it. That's the part of it that drew me, the part I love. Just talking to people, doing what I do, talking smack, and getting that feedback, that energy. So that part I miss, and I will always miss that. But I'm taking a break from that. Like you said, I've been the Energizer Bunny. I've been doing it 30 years now. I'm okay with this break. It's nice.
So part of this point of this series is to help people to understand what it takes to excel in a variety of industries. We've done, other people in the series, obviously entrepreneurs, filmmakers, producers, actors. And the goal is to, people look at people like you and say, I want to do that, I can do that. And they only see or are attracted to what you said, what I love to do, but then there's other things that come with it that often they're either overlooking or not prepared for. It's that being you could be you because you're you, but it's easy to be you because you're you, but it's not easy to be you. So talk a little bit about your journey. Start from the beginning when you decided this is what who you were and what you were going to be, and what you started to learn along the way as you came down this path and ultimately became Queen Adele, Queen of Comedy.
Well, I started off in a contest. I had been coveting comedy for a couple of years, wanted to do it because cable had come out. Now, shut up, youngins, but cable had come out. And I was working at the Social Security Administration in Chicago at the big old Bat building downtown. And I was, I didn't know I was a comedian at heart. I was bored, basically. And they had this contest where they were saying, if you think you're funny, you should get in this contest. I didn't hear it. I was at work. But my everybody heard it. My friends, family, everybody heard the advertisement. And when I got home from work one day, my voice, back then you had an answering machine, kiddies. And when the light blinked,
press the button.
Yeah.
You have three.
It was basically a tape recorder was what it was. When you think about it, an answering machine ain't no but a tape recorder. And my mama still had trouble talking about, I am not home. I'm like, Ma, you don't have to talk like you read. You could just say, I'm not home. It's okay. But I got home to my answering machine and it was blinking fast. So I knew that it was full. That's an indication that it's full or broken. It was new. I knew it was full. So I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on? When you get a lot of messages back in the day, you think somebody passed. So I was like, oh man, what done happened? So I hear the message. The first one I hear is somebody saying, you should get in this contest. The second one, every single message on there, including my mama, was saying, I heard about this contest. You need to get in it. You can win. You funny. I didn't know I was that funny, for real. I knew I wanted to do comedy, but I didn't know I was that damn funny. I had been seeing these Showtime Comedy Club Network clippings, and almost nobody was funny. There was a couple of people who was funny. This lady, Ellen DeGeneres, she was pretty good.
Oh, I heard of her. I heard of her.
Yeah, she was all right. She made me laugh. Most of them didn't make me laugh, and I found myself rewriting something that they said. If they would have went right here, if they should have did it like that, this would have been funny. I expected that. That was boring, and that. So with the messages and that thought, I just said, let me try it. So me and my best friend went way on the south side of town where nobody would know me, because they had 5 clubs you could go to work. And literally I was working weekends on one club. Like I worked 5 days a week at the Social Security, 4 days, Monday through Thursday at the Social Security, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I worked at the club on the west side. That was one of the clubs I could go to. I told my girlfriend, I ain't going nowhere nobody know me. Take me on the other side of town, taxi. So we went on the other side of town, and I got in this contest on 63rd and Low at a club called The Taste. Bernie Mac was in it, but he was not famous at the time. In fact, I won the contest. This was the Crown Royal Comedy Competition. Right. Bernie was so funny, but he was intimidated and he was quiet. And me and my girlfriend, like we was pros, we go over to Bernie after the show and say, we thought you was gonna win. You just was too quiet. Cause me, as you can see, I'm boisterous. I'm out there, but I was still nervous as hell, but they didn't know it. Bernie's nerves was obvious. He was very, very nervous on that show. So I gave him the advice to don't be so nervous. And it worked well, because later on Def Jam, he said, I ain't scared of you. I said, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't even think of Bernie Mac as being.
He looked so scared when he was doing that show. And that's why I think I won, because he looked intimidated. Right. So I won that. And then they had the finals in February. I won't forget that date. It was February 3rd of 1990. And Sinbad was the host. And I just knew this other guy named Jeff was going to win, but Jeff didn't show up. And come to find out later, Jeff had been doing all kind of comedians material, and Sinbad probably knew it, so he just didn't show up. So I ended up winning the finals at the Regal Theater in Chicago. That was like probably my 8th time doing comedy, because the first time was on 63rd and Low. The finals wasn't, they didn't have those until 2 months later. So I was able to go around a little bit. Bernie, in fact, was the one that showed me some clubs and took me to places that I, could practice until I got in the finals. The guy who I won against showed me and helped me to prep for the finals.
And it's a community. There's something you said about, the importance of not being intimidated, which you, I guess, instinctively understood at the beginning of your career. I tell people, and my oldest daughter is a comedic actress. She's not a stand-up comedian, she's a comedic actress. And I tell people, yeah, there are funny people, and there are people who can do comedic roles, and there are people who can do sketch comedy, but the artists that operate without a net, they're the ninjas, they're the assassins, it's the stand-up comedians, because you can't be a punk. You gotta, you can't hide behind a director. You can't hide behind a script. You can't even really blame the writer, because you can write a good joke, but if you don't know how to deliver it,
that's right.
You got an audience that's going to be right. It's Apollo, amateur night at the Apollo everywhere you go. It's not like one night.
That's right.
I tell people, not everybody. I tell people, there's no such thing as an amateur comedian. Either you're a pro or you're not. There's no room in the middle. So you kind of
no wiggle room.
Instinctively at the beginning, but talk about what it means to be able to learn, practice, and then build and stand in front of the lions. Then really, hundreds of lions, sometimes thousands of lions, who either are going to love you or they're going to hate you and let you know that they hate you, especially Black audiences.
Well, for me, I think it's different for everybody, every individual. Every personality is different. But for me, I think the reason why I had that courageous front, if you will, because like I said, I was just as nervous as Bernie was. But I'm a West Sider. a family of 7 girls and 1 brother who was next to the baby. So we, west side of Chicago, there was something that taught you early on to fake it till you make it, or you're going to be taken advantage of. So I went up there with that. And I think that's part of, you definitely, you got to look like a pro, even when you are an amateur comedian. That was and my girlfriend, when I got off stage, she's like, girl, you didn't even look like you was nervous. That was my best friend. She was like, and she would not lie to me. She was the one that took me south to do this. And she was like, and remember on Thanksgiving, you said this, now say that. And that was real funny because I had no material. I had never done stand-up. Wow. So I think that for me, I had to be true to who I am. I had to be me. Every time I found myself allowing managers, one time I did, I want to say it was Comedy Central, HBO, the special. And I had so much advice that I took that I totally disliked the special. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people said it was good. And you can get Adele in there, but listening to other people, I wasn't authentic to me and I didn't like it. So in order to get where it's trial and error, definitely, but you just have to persevere. And and a lot of people say to me, how do I get, I want to be like you. How do I get famous? I say, shoot your spouse. That'll put you right all over, all news, everywhere. That'll make you famous as hell. But comedy, stand-up it's not for the faint of heart. And if you trying to get money, ain't no money, man. It's hard to get some out of these people for this particular job. It's definitely, and especially for a woman, if you any type of minority in the comedy business, it's just what it is. I mean, you can look at the disparity between the acceleration of careers for the kings of comedy versus the acceleration of careers for the queens. It's a total imbalance right there. Monique got further than in terms of popularity and whatever than me and Miss Laura and Mo and some more could ever get in this with it being like, I mean, we could get there, but we would have to do some controversial. I have some ideas what I could do. It's all kind of things I could have did, but I said it's just beneath me. I have integrity. That's my problem. I got to shed that so I can get like them.
See, that's deep though. I got integrity. I got a problem. That is deep though, but it's real though.
It's so real.
Talk a bit about what you maybe thought you were getting into at the beginning. You achieved queen status, in my opinion. You can tell me if my perception is different. Earlier in your career than maybe even you expected it. I mean, I guess because you're good. You were good. Your family and your friends knew you were good even before you did. But what did you think about in the beginning of your journey in your career? And what are some of the things that you learned along the way that maybe you didn't anticipate, or you could only have learned from experience?
That's a great question. One of the main things is that I thought that the better you are, the more you excel, and the more they want to see you because the fans love you and all that. That's not necessarily the case. My mother used to be so frustrated, and I used to I couldn't explain it to her. She'd be like, why is that person doing this? Look how good you are, and look at them. And I couldn't explain to her. I couldn't articulate it. It's not always your gift or your talent. It's who you know. It's if you are flexible enough for them. If they say, a lot of times you look at a sitcom that a great comedian might have gotten, and you look at the wife, that's the person that's playing their wife, and you know this person, and you go, that ain't even their type, or why would he let that happen? And you wonder about that. Well, that's because only a fraction of what your talent is involved in the whole makeup of it. A lot of times, see, that was hard for me. I thought that if you just do well and all these great ideas that I have wonderful great ideas, some of which ain't even happened yet. And if I put it out there, I can see it, it will happen. You know, they took one of my ideas and gave me a sitcom, uh, but they ended up giving the spot, let them tell it. It was only 6 spots left, and 2 spots left, and one of them went to. They could only give one because one was already going to somebody, and then Tom Arnold, Roseanne's, he got the spot that they, you know, legitimately should have given me, according to some managers and people in the business. But I'm going, why didn't they give it to me? And they like, but that's Roseanne. That's, you know, that's Tom Arnold. That's Roseanne's husband. I don't give a fuck. He ain't. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're a queen, but you're still a lady too.
I am such a lady. Yes, I am. Such a lady. Then I want to, after I done threw it out there, now I want to beat it. But use your skills. You got them.
We got you. We got your back, sis. We got your back.
I appreciate it. But yeah. So that was disappointing to me. You know, it was one of those things like if you, like now, like we, you know, with seeing all of this craziness with the brutality, which is always happening. And it's one of those things where you think about as a kid, there was an officer friendly that come to school and give you coloring books and tell you good things like watch both ways and don't get in cars with strangers and that kind of thing. And it endeared you to police. Like you knew as a naive kid, that's my friend. I can always get help from a policeman. But as a person of color, you grow up and you find out that's a fallacy. Right. That's not true. So it's kind of like that. That's the feeling, you know, I got that with you know, with entertainment, because I knew, and then as I learned more and more, I knew I just pulled back and went to my stand-up, because that's the only authentic spot. When you stand up on a stage and you in front of a room full of strangers, that's the most authentic time I've had in the entertainment industry, period.
Well, you kind of even, you answer, you know, so to some degree answer my question. So you got this tremendous talent, you're a natural at it, you love doing it. You're good, and if you didn't know you were good before you started it, you certainly knew you were good once you got going. And then you find out that being good, that is not a meritocracy. That's the other thing that we learned the hard way as Black people and as women. We're taught, oh, it's a meritocracy, and if you work hard and if you're the best, and then you find out you worked hard and you are the best,
and yet. Right, you got the loudest, the squeaky wheel gets the noise and all of that.
Exactly.
Kind of stuff.
Exactly. So again, some people run into that and get discouraged and say, screw this, you know, screw this. I don't want,
yes.
You know, you answered it in part because you talk about how stand-up is the one place where it is really a meritocracy. Either you're funny or you're not. There ain't no help on the stage. Once you get out there, either you're funny or you're not. But what made you say, even as I learned some of these discouraging, disillusioning things in my profession, this is what I still want to do. And obviously you built a tremendous career despite all of that.
Well, Alfred, I'll tell you, like I said, I referenced the West Side a lot because that's my home base. And there was a lot of drug dealing, drug selling, drug using, and I was around that a lot. I mean, I grew up hanging out in the pool hall because I was a tomboy and I loved to shoot pool, and they loved to, you know, stake me, as they say. They see some sucker walk in, think he can beat a girl and say, I'll put up for her, you know, give her 2 hitting the pick or something, you know. So I was around a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily uplifting in my community. And the first time I got on stand-up, I've never done crack in my life, but the first time I got on that stage and I did stand-up, when I got off, my girlfriend, she was the one waiting in the wings. When I told her, I said, I understand crackheads. I'm doing this. This I'm doing again. This I'm doing again. I don't care how they reacted to me. It was a safe haven for me. It was a place I went to forget the place I was from, because there was just too much that I didn't want to remember about it at that time. Crack was flooded in our of course, we know now all of it was, partially designed to do. But at the time, I was a young girl coming up in it, and it was devastating me. So when I found comedy, it was like this comfortable place to go, and I don't have to worry about none of that. And I could express my concerns about it. It led me to doing I had been doing poetry as a youngster, but I had totally got away from that. Comedy led me back to doing that because there were things that I wanted to talk about and I couldn't make them funny. So I would have to write a poem and express my frustrations or whatever, because I couldn't find somewhere to put a joke with that when it was affecting me the way it was. I just couldn't do it. So I would put it in a poem. One of the poems that I did on Def Poetry Jam, it was called That Ain't Funny, Riri. And it basically talked about how frustrated I was that your kid can back that thing up but can't write that thing down. Wow. I had issues with that. And this was the way I knew to express myself. I'm one of those people that I like to see people happy. I like to see people smile, and I like to be happy. And I do whatever I can to bring joy to people. So when I have an issue, I don't want to bring that to you. I don't want to bring my issue to you. So how can I creatively get that out there and let you know that I'm feeling this way about this situation, because it can't stay in here. It's going to manifest some kind of way. So I started doing that. It's just, I knew I wasn't going to stop. I knew that gave me a sense of comfort that I couldn't find anywhere else. My father had passed away. I couldn't go to my dad and just give me a big old hug and get that comfort from him. My mom didn't even live in Chicago at the time. She lived in Kentucky. So I was just at a place where I needed to talk to people. And what was so great about it, it's almost like the universe led me right there, because the people I talked to related to what I was talking about. They appreciated that I expressed some of these things because they were feeling some of these ways. I was learning as I was going that I am so not alone, because you feel alone. You feel alone when you have all these despair feelings and these frustrations, and, you feel all by yourself. So to know that you totally not alone, it's a good feeling. I just knew I wasn't gonna quit. I don't know how. When I got off that stage that first time, I promise you, I told my girlfriend, "Girl, I understand crackheads," because prior to that, I used to talk to her and be like, "I don't understand these. My sister was on crack. I used to, stealing the batteries out of my remote control, trying to sell them back to me and shit. Just anything to bring awareness to the things that were killing me inside, Right. So that was that I knew I wasn't gonna quit. I had to keep doing that once I discovered it.
So you made a couple of references in our conversation already about writing, and I'm thinking about a particular person I grew up with who was hilarious. He actually ended up becoming a priest, and he's since passed away. But when we were kids, let me back a little bit about the culture of my hometown of Long Branch, New Jersey. Sarcasm is like a cultural thing, like playing the dozens, talking about people's mamas. That was it wasn't until I grew up and went to college that I realized that that's not really the way most people relate. But I mean, even the white people in my community, we just talk shit, and we're just sarcastic, and I don't know where it comes from and why that evolves in our culture. But this one dude was hilarious, and nobody wanted to play dozens with him because he was saying grown men home crying. That's how, But one of the things about him is he was a naturally funny guy, but he's an example of people I know who can't write or who don't write or don't. How important is writing comedy, and you're a comedy writer as well, to your ability to excel in your chosen profession?
Again, that's an individual thing, because personally, I have never had a writer. I've written everything that I've said, and I took pride in it. I don't know. Maybe I could have used a writer at times, but I never have. I've had people ask to buy my, jokes. I've had Steve Harvey offer to buy. So I was like, nope. If you like it, it must be really good. So I'm gonna keep that. But I feel like there's a lot of comedians out here who are really, really good, who have made a great living for themselves, and they don't even write. People wouldn't know it. They have writers. They have people who write the material for them. When you think about it, like I made reference to us not excelling our careers as quick as the men, but you think about it, if you got a guy who's got a TV show and a radio show and he's still on the road doing stand-up, he's more than likely gonna have a writer, because he don't have time to sit down and write the joke. That's what we do. Stand-up is a job that it's on the job training. There's nobody that can tell you how to do stand-up. And people make tons on classes, but they can't tell you how to do stand-up. They can't, because again, it's individualized to each person. But they can tell you, move the mic behind you, little things that you might need to know to work the stage and make you look comfortable, but no one can tell you how to do it. So if writing for you is important, right? But I don't think it's even necessary. For a lot of comedians ain't wrote nothing. If there's a little comedian, he was in the movie with us, little JJ, I think is his name, little boy. He was so funny on the internet. He had all this. He did the Beauty Shop. Yeah, that's the movie where he was the little kid with the camera running around. I don't know if you saw it with Queen Latifah, but anyway, he was a comedian before he was, they found him from stand-up. And if you looked at his stand-up, it was funny as hell. But you could tell from he was like 12 or something. You could tell he didn't write that. It was grown-up material. Somebody did all the writing, but his timing was impeccable. His delivery was great. He was a natural comedian. So I said all that to say, even if you can't write, it's fine. If you get a good writer, you can do stand-up. I think a lot of the guys from back in the day didn't write. A lot of the white comedians, the popular ones, Rodney Dangerfields and all of them people, I don't think they did a lot of writing. That you could hear, most of them did the same stuff. It's stock stuff, and a lot of comedians do that too. They take old stock material and they kind of redo it and make it funny. And somebody gave them the soup and they made it. Somebody gave them the tomato and they made the soup or whatever.
So think about timing and delivery and instinct to relating to the audience as it is whether the words on paper is actually funny.
Absolutely. Words on paper is great. And if you can write, that's awesome. But you don't have to be able to write to be a good comedian. You just need a good writer.
Kind of like a rapper. Some great rappers actually write out their rhymes and deliver them. And then some people could just freestyle and
that's right.
They can rap. And, they may never have written it down on paper, but they can. So I get that. I get that. It's very interesting to understand. So as you moved into your career, talk about what led to the Queens of Comedy tour and what that experience was like for you as a professional comedian.
I think once they did the Kings, it was a no-brainer. You could do the Queens of Comedy and it was just a matter of finding the right group of people, ladies, to do it, because of course they got the reputation that ladies don't get along or something like that. But doing that tour, like today, I can still say that was one of the best tours I have ever been on. Probably because I could relate to all the people on the tour. It was almost always one lady on a tour when I'm on tour with. It's always guys and one lady. And I could really relate to pretty much everybody on the tour, and we bonded. I don't think there was an argument on that tour. I don't think there was. If it was, I don't remember it. Not between the ladies. We might have bitched at somebody else together. But it was great. I didn't even wear makeup. I have to say, my mom never wore makeup. And she had 7 girls. And my older sister, she went through a Pointer Sister phase where she would dress like the Pointer Sisters and put a flower in her hair and all that. But we didn't have makeup or nail polish, and my mom wasn't religious. She just she couldn't stand the smell of nail polish, and she just didn't wear makeup. So I didn't have makeup experience. But when I went on the Queens of Comedy tour, Monique bought me my first. She bought a Mon foundation compact. Samore tried to teach me to put eyelashes on. I tried out. Samore, we used to tease her because she would come downstairs for radio beat, whole face made up. It's 6 a.m. It's like, where you going? But she was very good at that. And so her and Monique tried to teach me. And, you know, it didn't work out that well, but they did give me those lessons. And whatever I know how to do with makeup, I learned messing with them too on the tour. Laura taught us how to heat up food with an iron. That's right. She got some experience. She's like, honey, from my jail days, we can do anything. She would hang clothes in the bathroom, wash them and hang them up. Like I said, you are the lady on Car Wash looking for Joe. How do you know these things? But we just had a good time. And I think that was just like, to me, I cherish that memory. That was one of the best tours I was on in real life.
You know, you talk about, you know, what you didn't know and what you learned about makeup. And I'm just gonna say this: these photos, these fashion layout photo shoots you've been, follow this just on Instagram. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
The clothes are fly. Them shoes are like, I'm a shoe person. I mean, I'm a dude, but I'm a shoe person. Bad. I mean, you look amazing.
Thank you. I got that from Landis Cosmetics.
Okay.
Landis in Chicago. He did my cosmetics. Teresa Griffin, the singer, the beautiful.
I'm a huge fan of Teresa Griffin. I love her.
Say again? You're a huge fan? Oh, that's my sister.
I love her.
She the one who, you know, she's like, let me put this on you and do this. And she's the one who dressed me and sent me to the photographer. She was there with me when I was taking those shots.
Oh, wow.
She literally, you know, because she's such a lady, as you know. Well, she diva-fied me and then was like, okay, now you ready. And send me every change of clothes, she'd get me together. No, put this on. She had me with something different on. Now, most of the clothes were mine, but she, you know, organized them in a way and put them on. She did it. She did that. She's been so supportive of me since we started hanging out years ago. She's just that lady. She loves me and I love me some her because we are sisters. We're like, you know, it's like, you're not just artists and friends. You are sisters. She was literally coming on the road with me May 8th. She was going to go to, we were supposed to be in Detroit May 8th. And then she was going to go over to Philly with us on the 10th. But, you know, the universe said, sit down to us. She didn't sit down. Teresa just tea time online. She cooked.
Yeah, I saw one of her. She did a concert on Facebook last month that I was, you know, on. I'm like, this sister ain't slowing down at all. She cooking.
Yes, she multitasked too. Because if I'm cooking, I can't do my jokes because I'm too busy trying to, you know, I can't even text and talk to you. Like if I'm trying to reply to a text, it's like, you see, I'm busy. Wait a minute.
Right.
Got to figure out how I'm gonna word this because can be taken out of context in print, you know. So
I'm with that. So let's fast forward to today. You know,
before you do, let me say this. Oh, Ernest Collins, he was the one that shot all of those photos. He just passed earlier this month. But he was the photographer that shot all of those.
Amazing work.
Photos.
Amazing work.
Definitely amazing. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So let's take the pandemic off the table for now for this question. So
okay.
talk about what it's like now, today, in today's profession, in the world of social media. And you keep saying you're not tech savvy, but you know, we became friends on MySpace. Tell the kiddies they used to talk about MySpace way back in the day. You know, but you know, even as the anti-tech person, you still seem to be in sync with the media and communications platforms of the day, whatever that day is. So talk to me about what it's like to do what you do for a living today. What are the realities of being a stand-up comedian, a comedian in general, a Black female stand-up comedian in today's world? And how may have been different from when you first started?
Oh, in today's world, you can likes matter. Lots of likes matter, which is interesting because when my son was in high school, he was teasing me. He was trying to get me to, Mama, get on my page and do something. I want you to like my stuff so I can have all the likes. And I used to be like, boy, that ain't this thing, But now it's literally come to be that's what it is. But I don't know if I would have, if I had to, I probably would have. More than likely, I would have, because I was doing it anyway. I used to record my voice when I was a little kid. I got a tape recorder when I was about 10, and I recorded my voice a lot because it was weird to me. It's like, that's how I sound. You don't know how you sound until you hear yourself. And I'm like, that's weird. That's my voice. But today, sometimes people get mad because they say, they get instant, fame because of the internet, and we had it harder. And I don't know. I might beg to differ on that, because you could even say that about me. When I came up, I didn't have to do like the comedians prior to me, like the Red Foxes, and they had to, they wasn't able to get on cable. They wasn't able to do. Def Comedy Jam busted down, a lot of walls and open doors for us. So we got it easy, compared to the generation before us. So right now, I don't think it's any different, except they live in another world. It's no different than my kids. The rotary phone is unfamiliar to them. That's because that wasn't their world. This is my world. I teased them with I think it's just a matter of adjusting to another, as you get older, adjusting to another way of life, which we all got some experience in since this whole mask on your face situation came. But yeah, I don't think that it's much different. It's the world is different, but I think the individuals are quite the same, throughout the generations.
Has the comedy changed much from generation to generation?
You mean, has stand-up changed?
Stand up and the material that you choose to do, has that changed?
For sure, because now, you got extra bitches in your comedy. You got Siri and Alexa. I don't know who them bitches is. We ain't the Supremes. What do I need with them two bitches? I'm Diana Ross. I can do this without them. I guess though, because now I'm talking to you like we on the Jetsons. This was something I only saw George Jetson do when I was a kid. Talk to somebody, as soon as they call, you see their face. What if I'm on the toilet? I don't want to see your face, and you definitely don't want to see mine if I'm on the toilet. Yeah, it's some changes, definitely, because technology and the world we live in, not just technology. There would have probably been some changes. You think about some of the things, we used to say, and you can't say it now. It's not like it's getting freer. Like when we was coming up, it felt like it was more freedom to say, because Russell literally coached us prior to getting on Def Comedy Jam, saying, look, this is cable, so you can cuss all you want to. And even though he didn't tell us to cuss more, the message was cuss their asses out. I cussed extra when I was on Def Comedy Jam. I gave them a couple of extra
Actually, you make a good point that I actually had gotten from and probably in the same conversation where one of our Black Enterprise events, both Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer was there. And Cedric, I'm pretty sure it was Cedric, was talking about how to expand, not just in particular, but stand-up comedians in general. He was like, you got to have more than one kind of show, depending on, like, there's the show you can do before a corporate audience, which can be funny, but it better not have any, F-bombs or B-words. Then there's a show you might do that's in prime time, that's, it's more adult, but you got to worry about censors. Then there's cable, has another level where you can do, and then there's some audiences where like you can say whatever you want because, and he said his point to me was like to make a good living as a stand-up comedian, you almost have to have multiple versions of your material for the different levels of audience, but still be funny. Like you can't be so reliant on the F-bomb that you're not funny without using it.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. In fact, one of the joke that I told you Steve Harvey wanted to buy was basically saying it. It's like, I got so frustrated with some of the things that they used to, some of the little rules, and I was like, the way I was doing it then, I would say something like, y'all being offended because somebody said, I'm a cuss now, get ready. Y'all being offended because somebody said, but y'all will miss the message listening to the. Did they say duck? See how you missed the. And I have a lot of material centered around cussing because my logic. I used to not understand how people can so freely. There's a hair salon I used to go to. Most of the women were religious women. They were church-going women. And they were very adamant about the language in there, which I understand. It's a place of business. But I would sit there and listen to them talking about, girl, did you hear that preach last night? That preached his ass off. Oh, that was preaching. And I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, how is it that they are so concerned with a mother, but a is free to roam? I don't know how that, in my mind, at least a is a collective insult. If you say, hey, only certain people gonna turn around. But if you say, hey, somebody gonna turn around and say, who that call? It's like everybody gonna be included in, but you being selective when you throw the nigga out. So if you ain't gonna do don't do the nigga either. I know you can't put none of that on there. But the point is, don't miss the message listening to the MF. Because if all you heard was MF, you missing a whole lot of other stuff. They could have been saying, watch out, here come that MF with the gun. You ain't heard nothing but MF. You the only one got shot. Because you literally so concerned about the MF.
So it's about the message. Like
I never understood that. I kept saying, and even with Tourette syndrome, I used to say, how is it that, you find a kid that's 9, they've been diagnosed with Tourette's. What are the first things that you see them do? What are the things that I did on Sally Jesse Raphael? See them do was say, just out of nowhere, bitch. And I was like, why? Tell me why with Tourette syndrome is there nobody just going, Santa Claus or something else? Why do they cuss? Them people know what they doing. Don't give me that. Don't blame that on no damn disease. You could have said anything. You don't have to say, you could have said Santa Claus. Stop playing with me. You might have Tourette's, but your ass still bad. I defend cussing all the time. I'm such a lady.
You're such a lady. You're a queen.
That's how that came, Alfred.
Okay.
They were 2 or 3 guys. It was 2 or 3 had went on before me. Then I come on, and when I get off, they telling this is not Def Jam. This is some other show I was doing, and they telling me about my language being a lady and blah blah blah. And I'm like, but you didn't hear them. So then I started saying, you're gonna treat me like a lady regardless. I don't care what your opinion of cussing is. I am a lady, and you're not gonna make me think I'm less of a lady just because you don't appreciate a lady cussing. That's your backwards ass. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I am such a lady. Yes, I am. And you're gonna treat me as such, or you're gonna get whooped like I'm a man, because I fight like a boy.
I hear you, sis. My superhuman sis. You don't want none. You may think you want, but you don't want none of that.
You don't want that smoke.
So listen, at the time that we have left, what are you, you're still as great as you ever were. I mean, I got to see you as a birthday gift in 2019 at NJ Pack, Ladies Night Out, great show. Another show with all women, talent, great. But of course, you were the closer because you're the queen, and it was so great. It was so
I'm
great.
glad you.
But what can we look forward to again post pandemic, post what we're going through right now for the Queen of Comedy?
Well, I'm hoping that Skankos will get completed while I'm on this hiatus.
You tell our audience a little bit more about that. You're written or you're writing. What's that?
Say again now.
Explain to people more of what that is. You've been
Oh,
writing.
the Skankos, the soup. It's an acronym, Skankos. A lot of people, when they hear it, they're like, "Oh, Skankos," but it's an acronym for super cool and naturally kinky housewives of social entertainment.
Oh, okay.
It's. I just call it Skankos for short. And when I talk about it, I like to tell people to think, don't be a menace while drinking your juice in the hood, because that's the kind of parody it is. It's basically blaxploitation meets housewives meets stand-up. It's like my Skankos are all of them are kinky. They're naturally kinky. That's why they're super cool. They're naturally kinky, and they're housewives of social entertainment. Okay. So they're basically a parody of Real Housewives meeting blaxploitation. It's just the mind of Adele. I have a character in there named Kept Your Dollar, not Creflo, kept your, because he kept your dollars. He kept all your dollars when you sent them to him. He had to. I have a pastor plate. His name is Pastor Plate. Pastor Plate. That's right, double entendre.
When do you think we'll get to see it? What stage of production or development are you with that?
Actually, we started shooting it a few years ago, but then there was a halt in production for financial reasons, and also I was busy. But I think I want it to be like an online series. Mm. That's where in my mind, my crazy mind, I've got it now. It's an online series. Like they talk jive because they're cool. They're naturally kinky. They're from the blaxploitation area. Yeah. And I said area. They're from the blaxploitation era. Or they mama them is. I've got a Suge. I told you, did I tell you about Suge, my Suge White character? Not Suge. Her name is Suge White, and she's the owner and operator of Hit and Run Records. She smokes cigars, and at the time, Suge Knight she's obviously a parody spinoff of Suge Knight. Right. She smoked cigars. She owned her own record company, Hit and Run, and she's hilarious. She's played by a male actor.
I'm gonna be looking for this. I'm gonna be looking for this.
Yes, Stanko's gonna be the bomb.
And obviously,
I might need Zara to kind of come in on a cameo or something.
Well, she's down. She's an actor, and she sure believe in cussing, so you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Oh, that's cool. That works. I'm gonna need because her energy and attitude is perfect for one of the Skankos for me.
I'll tell my wife that you would be perfect as a Skanko.
You be careful how you say that, because I would like to see you again, and not. I want you to be vertical when I see you. Not horizontal.
Listen, sis. I'm so glad you took the time to have this conversation with me. I think people adore you because of everything you've done and who you are, but also I think you have given some real insights into what it really means to build a career, to pursue this profession in a way I think is very realistic, but your love of what you do just comes right through.
I love it. I do. I love what I do. And it definitely was one of those things where you had to see the reality of what, your fantasy was shattered. Your innocence was taken when I got to a certain level. But I didn't never let them take, because that's the beauty of stand-up. It don't change. People are coming and they're going to laugh. When this pandemic is over, I'll be back in. Yeah, I keep saying I'm gonna retire, but I know I'll be back. I'll be back because I can't. It's like crack. I told you, I took that hit.
Well, and we all high because of it.
That's right. I passed it. I puffed and passed.
Listen, Adele, I love you.
I love you too, and thank you so much for thinking about me.
Thank you, Adele. And thank you guys for joining us for Beyond the Hype. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. with Black Enterprise.